In order to understand the art of the Americas, one must understand the general history. Between 10,000 and 12,000 years ago, bands of hunters roamed through the Americas. After the Ice Age comes to a close, the Western Hemisphere is virtually cut off from the East. They were later found at the conclusion of the 15th century. One region of focus is Mesoamerica. Politically, they were formed of a complex hierarchy. In present-day terms, they were located in what we know now as Central America. There were several civilizations of this region, but they were rather linked culturally, with religious and political similarities. A drastic change that came to this area was the beginning of farming, which starts between 7,000 and 6,000 BCE. Shown here is Teotihuacan. It is an enormous archaeological site in the basin of Mexico, containing some of the largest pyramidal structures in the early Americas. Archaeologists have proven off historical evidence that this city was a dominant influence throughout Mesoamerica. From this region, we have a painting entitled The Bloodletting Ritual. It is painted in fresco technique, meaning pigments were applied to dry plaster. The painting depicts a ritual that enriches the earth with its own blood. The painting relates to the overall belief and respect of the higher powers, which in this region are closely associated with nature. In these videos, National Geographic depicts what they think the bloodletting ritual may have looked like. Next, the Mayans. The Mayans were known for many technological advancements, including a well-developed hieroglyphic writing style. They also developed productive city bases based on the division of society. From the text, we have an example of Mayan paintings. This painting is called the Cylindrical Vessel. This painting is an example of how the Mayans painted history of this time period. This one specifically shows a scene from a Mayan sacred text. South America politically developed artistic tradition along with the successful hierarchical society. They are located today in present-day South America. It is important to know that the art reflects the importance of the burial process and the afterlife. Based in South America was the Paracas culture. The Paracas culture was best known for their stunning textiles. Many of these textiles were used to wrap the bodies of the dead. An example of this developed skill is the artwork entitled Mantle with Bird Impression. This artwork emphasizes the repeating style of the textiles, but also shows how intricate the small and detailed stitching was. Also based in South America was the Nazca culture. The Nazca were known for the immense images they built literally into the geography of the land. Now we move to North America. In North America, the population density is rather low, especially compared to South America, where there were gigantic civilizations. In North America, the lifestyle was initially hunter and gatherers, but when the corn cultivation starts in 1000 BCE, the culture drastically changes. Because of the arid climate, the cultures of the Southwest developed into agricultural civilizations. Also, irrigation systems were developed to bring water where there was a lack of it. From this area, we get an artwork entitled The Great Gallery. The Great Gallery has stylized figures that represent hunts or rituals in order to please the gods. It is of importance to realize the significance of the artwork to the Americans in this time. Some pieces were explicitly utilitarian, while others are used for ritual uses and symbolic. There is no distinction between art and culture. In November of 1519, Spanish conquistadors led by Cortes discovered the Aztec capital Tenochtitlan. The Europeans discovered the Americas as they were trying to find a route to Asia. They brought with them many new things. These range from horses to guns and even to diseases. But most importantly, they brought new ideas about religion and culture. First, the Aztec Empire. The Aztec Empire settled on a lake called the city of Tenochtitlan. They were a huge power and began aggressive expansion throughout the Americas. Their rise is rapid, but their destruction was sudden with the arrival of the Europeans. The religion of the Aztecs is very significant. The Aztecs believed that the gods took care of their main city. The Aztecs also believed that the continued existence of the world depended on rituals which included human sacrifice. The next two artworks are titled A View of the World. They show how the center of the Aztec culture was the city of Tenochtitlan. These paintings also show the rank and style of the religion. This artwork is entitled The Feather Headdress of Montezuma. The Aztec featherwork art is very respected during this time period. The bright colors of the headdress were very important. Goods like this were then taken and shipped back to Europe once the Spanish conquistadors arrived. Montezuma was also ripped of his power once the conquistadors arrived. In its prime, the Incan Empire covered 2,600 miles of the west coast of South America. Like the Aztec Empire, it rises very quickly, but comes to a halt very soon after the Europeans arrive. The Incan Empire relies on religion, bureaucracy, and they are very advanced, even taxing their own citizens. This advancement is very similar to modern governments. And a specific example of this is how the government made the people build a public road. This is an example of the art from the Incan Empire. It is entitled The Tunic. It is a textile with many patterns and designs. The designs were not only decorative, but carried symbolic messages and meanings. Next, we move to North America. It is important to realize that the artworks were usually very small and portable, as the nomadic lifestyle of the North America was inevitable. We move now to the Northwest Coast. The Northwest Coast covered from southern Alaska to northern California. These civilizations lived mostly on fish readily available in the numerous streams. The people traveled together as huge, extensive families in this culture. This is an example of the artwork from this culture. It is a grizzly bear house partition screen. It is actually a family crest of one of the extended families that this culture commonly traveled with. The bear was a spirit believed to travel with the family. Textiles were very important to this culture. Both males and females worked on textiles in these extended families. The artwork, entitled The Shilkat Blanket, emphasizes the ability of the textile makers during this period. The stylized figures in this image represent animals and nature. Next, the people of the Southwest. The people of the Southwest led a sedentary way of life, making a living on agriculture and sheep. They lived in apartment-like villages on the sides of cliffs. They did this for shelter from the beating sun, but also from other cultures. Pottery was traditionally used, as the materials for it were readily available. This artwork, entitled Kosharis of Taos, illustrates a ritual. This ritual takes place during the winter solstice. This image specifically depicts a time of the ritual when clowns take over the plaza. The artwork from this culture is called the Whirling Log Ceremony. It depicts the Navajo creation story. It shows how Earth's surface was split into 4 parts, which are the 4 sacred plants of the culture. These include corn, beans, squash, and tobacco.